Well, hi there. I've got a bit of a story for you. I got into some trouble while making a video down on one of the Sydney platforms, a Sydney Trains platform.
Oh, we might have a bit of a expose about Linfield Station.
I was doing a vlog. Gloria Choo Choo was down there doing a vlog. I was down at Linfield Station, which is on the North Shore of Sydney. It was in the morning. It was quite busy there. I was down at Linfield because my mum's doctor is down at Linfield, and I had an hour to spare. And I thought, well, Mum's in seeing the doctor, I'll scootle off and do a trains vlog. That was a very poor decision to make in the end. And I thought, well, go up to the station. And because I grew up in Linfield, my very early childhood was from Linfield. I also lived in Chatswood as well. I knew a little bit about Linfield, the history of it. I knew what things hadn't changed over the years, so I was going to try and incorporate that into my vlog because Gloria Choo Choo's vlogs is about a bit of fun, a bit of humour, a little bit of history, and a little bit of train talk. And I just try to do things a bit differently to other train vloggers. Remembering I'm not sincerely a train spotter or Railfan or vlogger in that sense. But nevertheless, there I was down at Linfield Station, and little did I know I was actually being scrutinised by the staff down there on the station.
Oh, I dare say the station staff see absolutely everything. Those cameras are everywhere. Oh.
And I think I was down there, it wasn't that long actually. I got a bit of the video made. Gloria Choo Choo works pretty fast because I think as most train spotters and people that do that will know, you sort of do stuff, you be on the move, you keep moving around. Don't be stationary in one spot for too long. You might be sucked up by the mysterious dark forces on the platforms, which is what happened to me. I was up at the end of the platform and there was a train which was just leaving the platform. There was another one coming in. It was a great shot. I was about to get this shot of the two trains together and I heard from behind me, "Oi, what are you doing here? You can't be on here taking videos." Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
But I'm just taking pictures of the trains. I'm not doing anything wrong. Oh, please listen to me. I'm just here. I'm a train spotter, train vlogger.
I thought, oh God, there were two gentlemen came up to me. And I thought, oh, what do? You get a bit of a fright, you freeze. I'm sure there are other rail fans, train spotters, and people who take videos of trains that'll have a very similar story to me. These gentlemen came up, and of course they were heavy questions, trying to work out what I was doing. I wasn't a very good look. I think I had a Minecraft cap on, which was my daughter's. Might have had my AC/DC shirt on. My phone looks like that. So it starts to look fairly tragic when you put those combinations together. I'm near 50. Obviously, I'm floating around. I don't have a job. And I thought, well, what I'll do, I'll initially, which is a bad thing to do, I'll tell a few lies. I'll say I'm a person that goes around, train spotting. I'm a rail fan, blah blah blah. Which, to tell you the honest truth, is not the truth. Because the problem with me in saying that is I don't know the jargon. There's a lot of jargon that goes with being a train spotter, rail fan, whatever. And it would only take a little bit of time for the rail staff to understand that I'm not one of these people because I don't fully understand the jargon. Anyway, they said, look, we were watching you. You were going around, and what seemed to be the alarm here was I was taking photographs or video of certain parts of the station that raised alarm bells. And the funny thing about Gloria is, Gloria, like I said before, tells a bit of history, tries to be comical.
Oh, the other very important historical note here, if you know where to look on these earlier train stations is, you'll see rivet work that it's exactly the same as the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And sure, go ahead, call me rivet counter. I enjoy counting rivets, especially if they're on Sydney trains.
And once you see this vlog, it'll be Gloria's fourth train vlog, probably be her last because Gloria's been in trouble. That what I say versus what you see on screen, because Gloria speaks live to camera, it's like a live vlog. You're going to laugh because I was videoing versus what I was saying was interpreted as being setting up for like a terrorist attack, because apparently we are on a terrorist alert in Australia, and in this heightened security sense that people are looking out for people like me acting suspiciously at rail stations. And it did have me go and look at I thought, well, they were saying to me, you're not allowed to be down here with a camera taking videos of trains. I thought, well, hang on a second. I've never heard this before. Mind you, I've heard from train fans and train spotters that they have problems with this. And it had me go and look at the website, and I think the only thing I could find on the Sydney Trains website was about suspicious behaviour. And it talks, basically says there in a very short paragraph, to go and report to the police or rail staff if you see anyone acting suspiciously. Gloria Choo Choo was acting suspiciously, so Gloria got busted. Like I said, I tried to defuse the situation sort of by telling a few lies initially. I thought, well, maybe I'll start telling the truth. Sometimes not a guarantee either. Sometimes by telling the truth of why you're down there can amplify the situation to being worse. And I sort of said, I told them the truth. I said, look, I'm 2.5% famous. I do, videos for YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I told them who I was. And I think that was looked upon as being more skeptical, because remember, I got a Minecraft cap on, the AC/DC shirt, my phone looks like that. So straight away, there's no air of confidence at all. I don't carry business cards. I'm not a business. I'm just, a guy having some fun. Is there anything wrong with that? It seems like there is. And I thought to myself, well, they've had their bash at me. They've had a fair bit to say. They didn't scrutinise my phone. I said, please look at my phone, and I would have laughed, because then they would have seen the vlog, and of course it's done live and they would have heard, oh, Gloria here, oh, look at this, oh, and Gloria crying, and all the things Gloria does.
Oh, it's just a beautiful sight. I said, I don't know, I can't stop crying when I'm looking at those Sydney trains.
And I thought, well, no, look, I'll come back. I'll have my 5 cents back at these people, because they've had their bash at me. I said, look, I'm sorry, but I cannot see anywhere in this station, anywhere, where it says no photography. I said, I think I can actually come back down here and I can just keep taking videos of trains. I cannot see pictures here, any indication, writing, pictures like the picture of a camera with a red stripe through it.
Oh, at Sydney Trains, if you need to know what a no photography sign looks like, that's what it looks like.
That doesn't exist here. And then the station master said to me, yeah, you're actually correct. Well, finally I started to get a win. I got one win. Okay, I thought, okay. Well, what happens if I do come back down here and just continue on? He says, well, we could probably turn a blind eye to you. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I've been, basically told to leave the platform, and what they told me was, they said I could video the trains from outside the perimeter of the train station. I basically shoot through the fence.
And here's another, picture of a train. I'm outside the station, guys. Okay, Mr. Station Master. Oh, don't you love that? Sydney train and a lovely Sydney fence. Oh.
But being on the platform taking videos of trains was deemed an offence, which I don't think it is. Well, mind you, the audience are going to know this, and there's going to probably be a lot said about this, because I'm sure there are other people who've been in this situation. And I thought to myself, wow, I can't believe it. I came down to do a simple, fun thing for YouTube, and it's turned into this furor. There's anything that was missing in this equation was the police. And I thought to myself, wow. But then I thought, well, it's interesting. This is more of a story than what Gloria does. And I said to the gentleman, the station master, I said, look, can you just do a piece to camera to me? Can you just tell me this whole thing about heightened security alerts? Because I'd like to hear this, and I'd like to actually, I will put my video up. And he goes, oh no, I don't want to be seen on the video, blah blah blah. And the thing with me is, if people say they don't want to be seen on the video, I respect that. I don't try and force stuff up onto YouTube where people, who don't want to be seen start being seen. And I wasn't down to I know they have lots of troubles in Sydney with people, getting around with cameras, and they're taking sneaky shots of girls and all the rest of the things like that. I wasn't doing anything like that. I was down there purely having a bit of train vlogging fun. And, it's a whole thing about cameras in public. Where are you allowed to take cameras in public? Where aren't you allowed to take cameras in public? With the whole heightened security alert, I mean, in a funny way, I do question that, because I'm old enough to remember when in Australia back in the 70s and early 80s there were lots of bombings here. People have forgotten this. There was the Hilton bombing back in the 70s. There was a bombing in the toy department at Woolworths in Sydney store, and the one opposite Town Hall. It's all forgotten. There was a really bad bombing down in Melbourne at the police centre. There was another bombing in Adelaide. I forgot exactly what it was, but there was all sorts. It was to do with crime, extortion, vendettas and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, I'm saying in the last 20, 25, maybe 30 years, you just don't hear of this anymore. I mean, it's sort of like this has been the clean era. Although, since 9/11 happened, and because I have an explosive license, I mean, God forbid if the train people worked out that I had access to explosives, I mean, that would have been instant straight to jail. Since 9/11, we all got scrutinised. All our licenses got revoked, and we had to basically reapply, and you get scrutinised heavily by police departments and whatever else. And then there's massive fees attached to having these licenses. So it's what I call the industry. It became an industry to wrapped around this whole security thing. which is, this is the way things seem to go these days. But Australia's a peculiar place. It's well away from the rest of the world. It's a multicultural place. It seems to accept everyone that comes in past the borders, and basically, if people do come here for hardcore alliance or something, usually by a generation, give it 20, 25 years, a lot of that hardcore aspect has basically been washed away. And that's sort of what Australia's about. It's a very easygoing place. I mean, some people don't gel with that because some people get uncomfortable when they move away from a monoculture. If you ever go to a country which is like a singular, very, very strong culture, there's a very different feel. And I've been to those countries, and there's certain aspects to that I actually like. But also these countries which are very singular in culture tend to be very hard against people who come in who aren't part of that culture as well. So I've been there. I've worked in those countries. I've lived in those countries, and Australia is very, very different. Very liberal in Australia. But I'm sure you're going to have something to say about this thing. Please watch Gloria's 4th vlog. I'm just putting it the part that I've got done put together because it's comical, because what I was doing and the way that it was interpreted was seen as I was being a threat to the station, or a threat to national security.
There's actually one feature here which hasn't changed over the years. It's exactly what it was like when I was a child. This is the bubbler here on the station. Not many people would see that as a historic piece. I certainly do. And like the good old days, it shoots up into your face when you have a drink.
And you probably look at this and you say, oh yeah, well, you were acting suspiciously. Yeah, well, Gloria has to act suspiciously to make her videos because Gloria does things differently. And probably people overseas don't understand Gloria Choo Choo. Gloria is I'll tell you who Gloria is all about. Gloria is based on, in Sydney, there's a radio personality. He's the most popular radio personality in Australia, or in Sydney. We'll say Sydney. And his name is Alan Jones. He's a very opinionated person. He's a person that basically stands up for a lot of good things. I've got a lot of time for him. I've been a fan of his since he's been on radio. I listened to him for, it seems like years. I don't know, he's probably been on radio, I don't know, was it 30 or... Seems like since I was at school. Just seems like he's always been there. But Alan Jones is some people, it's one of these people, you're either going to love him or you're going to hate him. He's just one of those people. And Gloria, Alan speaks in a certain way, and so Gloria picks up on the way Alan speaks. And I was sort of thinking, wow, wouldn't it be funny that if Alan Jones heard the story of the way I was, evicted from Linfield Station there on the leafy North Shore of Sydney, and I could go in and have an interview with Alan Jones, and it could be Gloria meeting Alan Jones. It'd be fantastic. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. That's in my dreamy mind here. But it's really my little thing that I can pick up on that accent or the way he speaks. And in a funny way, Alan's special because he does sound different. He's peculiar in the way that he presents, and I think that's interesting because there's a lot to learn about that. As soon as you bring something, the whole thing about Gloria Choo Choo and my trains vlog is that as soon as you bring something which is just a couple of degrees different to what other people are doing, because lots of other people are doing very, very similar train vlogs, they're almost like copy and pasting each other. As soon as you come in and you put a little bit of spice with it and you just change the angle a bit, you can cause and create a lot more interest. And that's a little secret to YouTube that I like to do, and maybe a little lesson there if you've lasted to this part of the video, which you probably haven't done. But anyway, I'm sure people out there have got stories about being hammered for the fact that they're out there enjoying being a train fan or train spotting. I know there are lots of people that do this. I do see these people. You quite often see them hovering at the end of platforms because you get the good shots of the trains at the end of the platforms. And sometimes I've gone up to them and said hello, but I never said who I was or anything. Or I ask them, quite often if I meet someone, I see them with a video, I say, what YouTube channel do you have? I never tell them that I've got one. I'm always curious to see what other people are doing. And I was sort of thinking, wow, if Gloria ever goes out again and does a 5th vlog, which may never happen, I'm sort of thinking maybe I'll just keep Gloria packed away, and it was just a special thing that we did 4 videos with. Anyway, that's the story that happened to me down at Linfield Station there. I'd like to hear your stories if you've been harassed by taking videos of trains. I better leave it here. Thanks for watching, and just be wary of people walking around with phones that look like that. Bye for now.
I can't get my eyes off the Sydney train. Oh, look at it go. It's so beautiful, so powerful, and so big.